Oh, Hilary joins us now. I mean, you're set for Christmas, dear. Look at you. You've got the, oh my God, look at you. You've got the tinsel. Ah, now I know. I tried to get my wife to take it from the tree because she'd put too much tinsel on the tree, Hilary. Obviously, you ended up and found it. And now it is the Christmas decoration you've got. Hilary, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you on. Hilary Calvert joins us now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I thought I'd get a wee bit festive.
Yeah, well, you have got very festive. News stories of the year. What was your news story of the year? What was the overarching story for you of 2024?
Well, I was thinking about it because I listened to your very good interview with Haimona Gray, and I was thinking that you couldn't have the people of New Zealand get involved in constitutional issues to save their own lives, I would have thought. You know, they're just something that esoteric and commentators and lawyers and people from, poll studs and things. But we have this year got them to be involved in all sorts of things that are constitutional. And I think it's really good. We've all been thinking about it much more than we used to, and I think it's hugely optimistic and a really good thing. And some of them have been general issues or things we've done. Others of them have been specifically, and I think what got people particularly interested is where constitutionally our relationship between European of origin people as it was then and Maori back in a treaty, what we deal with that now. So, for example, where a city fits. So some people have been saying we shouldn't send something to a select committee if people have formed a view before it goes there and have expressed that view. I think that's the nut of their criticism.
Yes, that's pretty much absurd, isn't it?
Figure that out.
Yeah.
And you think, well, what's the point of having a select committee? These are people who've been whinging that things that the government promised to do and are doing without going to select committee. They've been whinging that those things should have gone to select committee. Now we get something going to select committee and people are whinging that it's going there. And that's a serious part of our constitutional system. And whatever happens at select committee, it's part of the democracy. It does give people a chance to have their tuppence worth, and whether or not anything changes as a result of it or whatever. So I think that's a really interesting constitutional issue. Another thing that people have been exercising their brains about has been the coalition agreement. So here they say, we will jointly govern, and the parties of us who jointly govern will govern on the basis of an agreement. And it's quite a comprehensive agreement, and it's interesting. You've gone back to it from time to time. It says here, we promised New Zealand First will do such and such, and here it is doing it, whatever. It's quite a comprehensive document in all sorts of ways, but there's been suggestions that the government, and these have come from particularly from Plunket and the like, I think, shouldn't carry out their promise to do something according to the agreement they've made with their coalition partners. Chris Hipkins knows as well as the rest of us, that is the collapse of government. So what he's saying, why don't you throw that lot out and bring us in? Because we haven't got the government once we don't carry out the coalition agreement. Chris Luxon just said, no, I'm not going to do what it says in the agreement.
Hilary,
the others wouldn't support him. That's the end of it.
I'm not sure you can hear us in actual fact. Listen, Hilary, we need you a better there. You're freezing. Could you just put Josh, could you go and get Hilary, and we're going to have her on the phone. It might be something to do with atmospheric conditions, to be fair. I don't understand why that would be, but there is a gale blowing through, as I say to you now, through Otago, and we're getting every second word from Hilary, not every word, and we don't want to get every second word. Just on that, I would like to ask you for this week, for callers too, what was your story of the year? both nationally and internationally. So we will do that for the rest of this week too. Story of the year. In other words, what was the event or events that you thought were the most influential nationally, internationally in this country? Hilary, have we got you back?
Yes, you have.
That sounds much better. Sorry, it might be to do atmospherically. We're having a gale go through here at the moment, so I don't know what the story is. I can't see you, sorry dear, but I can hear you.
That's fine. You're quieter, but that's all right.
I'll get Josh to turn you up. Turn me up, Josh. Turn me up. Good on you. Excellent. Thank you. All right, Hilary.
Okay.
Just on, we talked about national, so you've talked about the constitutional arrangements for New Zealand. You're talking about a whole series of people on the left and academics getting upset that governments that said they were going to do something are actually doing it. I wouldn't have thought there's a problem with such democracy, but I mean, I guess when you're on the other side of the argument, you'd always look for any argument you can, surely, to try and negate what the other side are doing. Is that just the way in which New Zealand politics runs?
Well, it's just that if they didn't carry out what the coalition said they would, there wouldn't be a coalition and the government would collapse. And that's what Chris Hipkins knows as well as everyone. So he's just saying, if they're going to carry out the preposterous things they've agreed to, why don't they just give up and give the government to us?
That's right.
I guess.
Having said that, how long would that last as well? That's one of the stories for me, though, actually, just quietly, is Chris Hipkins and Labour this year. They haven't really moved the dial much since in the whole year. We've got to the whole year. We've seen what the pollings look like and things like that. It seems that Chris Hipkins, as an opposition this year, has very much had the agenda set by those to the left of him, Labour to Party Māori in particular, and he's gone along with them. He's attached himself, or Labour, to their particular causes this year. Yeah. It's one of the stories of the year.
Yeah, that their own Labour Party caucus, Maori caucus, could, of course, just get up and wander off to the Maori Party, I guess. And in fact, Willie Jackson, who really ought to know better, got up and with that haircut, didn't he, the other day? Mm. Mm. And so here's Chris Hipkins in thrall to effectively the Maori Party. And then you get involved in, and that causes problems. So he can't move now. He can't do any of the things. And he knows, we think, how did he not know that people voted him out? But one of the things he must know people voted for or against the previous government would be the Three Waters thing. And he can't get up and say, we would change that to not have unelected Maori representation in our waters, because then his own lot would abandon him. So he's sort of stuck between a rock and half a dozen hard places, really. And then we end up constitutionally with the Maori Party, and we're also having discussions about this, saying that somehow they're prepared to get up in Parliament and ignore the tikanga of Parliament and say, we don't acknowledge Parliament, you're not in charge of us. And that is a serious constitutional issue that they're raising there. And we've started talking about it. And we're talking about the treaty bill. And we're even talking about whether people who are appointed, because at the crux of this is, to my way of thinking, is Maori elites wanting to be appointed rather than elected so as that people cannot choose them if they don't want to choose them. So the ideal world is the white man's world with the white man appointing people according to what the Maori elite say, and the Maori, the rest of the Maori don't have a say, and neither do the rest of us. But appointments is much better, and it preserves the elite position that those Maori are in.
Right.
But constitutionally, it's a real nightmare. But we're actually discussing that. And if Parliament isn't in charge, who is? And how do we choose them? Do we appoint them? Do we elect them? So These are serious constitutional issues. And you
well, that sort of leads me to the next question, though, which is, and it seems to me that if I had to summarise also that it's that New Zealand's become more factionalised this year, despite the election. I might have thought, well, the last election, we'll see how it goes, but in actual fact, the factions have become more entrenched in their positions both on the left and the right, don't you think? And often the centre-right really in reaction to the activism of the centre-left.
Yeah, but I think it started, well, it didn't start, but when David Seymour introduced the treaty bill, then we had people responding to that. And the Maori Party, when they saw that would mean the game is up. We can't tell you, it doesn't say that in Maori. What it says is we're in charge just as much as you, and all sorts of crap. So they're fighting for their very privileged existence, really. So it's an existential struggle from the Maori Party and co. And I think they've set up the division. David asked what could have been the same sort of question that Don Brash was asking back in Orewa. Are we all? He says we're all equal. But no, some are more equal than others, says the Maori Party, and those people who are more equal are us.